You crack the spine of the old book, revealing blackened pages of dense, illegible text. The words recede into the shadows the longer you focus on them. Suddenly, the page widens to eclipse the world around you. A dark void stretches out on all sides, the air full of choking fumes that carry dying embers and curling flakes of ash. Something stirs in the darkness. An old woman steps forward, leering down at you from on high. Her smile is toothy and cruel. Her cheeks warp around it like melted candle wax.
I'm so glad that my messenger tracked you down. These days it's impossible to find good help. Watcher, before you draw your weapon, know that these proceedings are under a banner of peace. If this was a trap, it would have already closed around you. While Bareth whispers in one ear and Aether shouts in the other, I thought you could use a more seasoned perspective to drown out the noise. This is but a small corner of the beyond, one that I use for privacy and contemplation when I need to get away from the endless chatter. Don't you find it unusual how open and accessible my siblings have made themselves? After millennia of subdued whispers, now they practically scream their intentions. And isn't it strange how we never bicker unless a mortal is watching? If we still possessed our glorious titans, my siblings and I would have put an end to Aethys and his rampage by now. While we are powerless to stop him, some of my kin wish to observe how mortals respond to this threat. They think it will shine a light on the value of our patronage. Have we raised you well enough to be self-sufficient? Or must we return to Eora and impose some corrective measures? What indeed? That would depend on which of us you ask. A cross-section of society has converged on the Deadfire. Some of my kin are of an opinion that we are meant to judge mortals on the basis of their performance, while the rest of us have already made up our minds on the matter. Judge for yourself, but I think you'll find my intentions are more straightforward than you think. When we ascended to godhood, we did so to provide for a savage people. Our goal was to craft a society whose values were made to last. Perhaps even a society that had no need of us. A naive fallacy, but one that inspired my optimistic, misguided kin. How you and your allies counter this threat will demonstrate whether you are competent enough to guide your own destinies, or if we need to revise our strategy. The soft-hearted among us are counting on you to win this existential wager. No doubt, Aethys shares their sympathies. I do not. We exist to rule over mortals. Nothing can change that. So now you know the truth. I assume you have questions. Whether knowingly or unintentionally, you seem to find yourself on the vanguard of change. Mortals like you come but once in a lifetime. Some would react poorly if I stripped mortals of their freedom without giving them a chance to plead their case. You have the honor of standing tall as their advocate. Before I return to Eora and assume my position as your deserving tyrant, you have this opportunity to prove me wrong. To demonstrate whether or not mortals are responsible enough to claim their future. You speak as if you do. Mortals have precious little time to decide for themselves. Will they stand together as one, or swallow their pride and bend the knee? I have every confidence that you will disappoint us. Once my position is upheld, the undecided among the gods will embrace my plan. Prove it or disprove it, yes. I never agreed to this arrangement, but if your example demonstrates mortal ineptitude, as I trust it will, then I can make the plan serve me. An assertive minority of gods believe that your choices will prove the value of their wild optimism. As if mortal collaboration and ingenuity are endorsements of our leadership. Then there are those of us who know better, who are not so easily convinced. Kith are vulnerable, unless they submit to the destiny we chart for them. Thinking otherwise can only breed dissent and chaos. It was an ambitious plan, our utopia. Perhaps too ambitious. We ascended to power, responding to a need inadequately satisfied. Assuming these roles gave us the authority to mold Eora over time, to influence you and lay the groundwork for a society yet to come. On the outset of the plan, some believed that mortals would outgrow us, as if that was a favorable outcome. To me, our eternal pantheon was always a critical fixture. Aethys was one of those who supported mortals, while I have always been their most vocal critic. Opposition can take many forms. If a church embraces and weaponizes my doctrine, that is very different from me rampaging as a titan. Aethys is not known for subtlety. Twice now, he has contaminated the purity of our experiment, and done so with extravagant displays that undermine our authority. His approach was sophisticated, indirect. I owe you no explanations on the matter. Besides, you are not worthy to speak his name. I am the counterpoint to the soft-hearted. It makes no difference if mortals pass some arbitrary test. My mind is settled on the matter. Regardless of my feelings, the timing of this crisis forces us to accelerate our schedule. Final judgment comes sooner than any of us would prefer. A valid, self-defeating question, and one which I posed often. We assumed that they, whoever they were, would reveal themselves to us. Rational government would rule in our stead, leaving churches vacant. Thanks to Aethys, we're pulling the dough from the oven before it's had a chance to fully rise. You unfortunate bastards never had the chance to prove me wrong. You mean gods crafting a godless world? Naturally. My siblings desired to influence mortals and steer them in a proper direction, even if that direction led to places we could not follow. I have no intention of being left behind. Society would unravel without its queen to impose strict order. If our pantheon found that mortals had cultivated a perfect, lawful system to maturity, I would not voice a word in protest. I would merely stand aside and await the inevitable collapse. Mortals need us. I know this as well as I know myself. Even a lawful and responsible society would be poised to collapse as long as its architects and strongest adherents were mortal. Any satisfaction that my siblings derived from their little experiment would be short-lived, and it would fall to me to clean up after their mess. Make no mistake, Watcher. In this, I cannot be proven wrong. You have learned much already. Only ask if you are ready for the truth. Nothing you've done has tarnished it utterly beyond repair. You may congratulate yourself on that much, at least. The wheel is our shared responsibility, and each of us serves it in our own fashion. I am the axle upon which the gods balance their power. Aethys keeps the wheel in motion. He was our promise to mortals that time and labor would yield a deserving reward on the next turning of the cycle. At the height of our power, we recognized the potential of the soul. We knew that it could be bound, split apart, diverted like a river, and hammered together. Hammering was trivial. Those of us who agreed with the Apotheosis Project, and many who did not, submitted to a violent and horrible erasure of our individuality. After the dust settled, we adopted the forms of beings from Eora's most prevalent myths. There were other faiths and legends, but we labored to strike their names from history. Much of reincarnation's mechanism exists in the idea space of the beyond. You wouldn't find a wall of cogs and levers unless we conjured one to illustrate a point. The wheel has but one material component in all of Eora. Something we built to channel essence through luminous Adra and into the beyond with reliable continuity. Before we intervened, the flow of essence was directionless, unpredictable. We succeeded in widening the gap, diverting it, giving it an efficient path to follow. Before we took control of the wheel, reincarnation was error-prone, lacking forward momentum. Hollowborn were fairly common, and hardly the worst of the soul maladies. Control gave us the power to strengthen the souls of intelligent kith over generations. We made you wiser, stronger, more likely to develop the society we thought you deserved. Every turning of the cycle demonstrated the righteousness of my belief. Nature begets chaos, and discipline begets perfection. Speak, Watcher. It isn't every day that I open myself to these communions, so spend your breath wisely. Yes, I think we will. This is not the end of our discussion. You know how to find your way back to this place.
Wotica nods stiffly. You feel her presence drift as a breeze, rustling as it goes.
Behold, Aethys is risen again. He is glorious in form and purpose.
Please, I must ask a favor. What say? Do you have business with the Valian Trading Company? My people are the Duape. We signed a contract with the company. We were not understanding the terms at the time. I wish to, what say, renegotiate. But the clerks turned me away. My father, the Ranga, took payment from the company. In exchange, they dig for Adra. He did not understand the Valian way. When he dies, the Outlanders will claim our island for themselves. Father has fallen ill, and the clerk, Luca, stands by the agreement as surely as if it was stamped in his skin. Akira. When the Valian clerk learned I was from the Duape, he became very anxious. I made my appeals to Luca, but my words were as stones dropped down the deepest well. While I am barred from the company office, I can do nothing for my people. I showed Luca a new contract, yes? Fairer, more agreeable terms. Luca called me a criminal and summoned his guards. A man in the gullet offered to assist me. He carried papers, ink, and wax. He helped to write a new contract in the Valian way and to fix the correct seals. Luca, I say he did not like this. He took my contract and forced me into the streets. I do not know this word. I would fix, but Luca will not give me the chance. Negotiating with outsiders has not gone my way. Luca has it secured in a chest. Tangaloa's jaws such trouble for parchment, I say. Akira, the gods have steered us together, friend. Take all that you need to get started. Akira, my thanks. I will remain here by day until justice is done. Akira, you return. What say, friend? A strange smell follows you, I say. I hope you're not unwell. I will be going nowhere, my friend. The clerk and all of his harmful words could not move me.
It's still going on, is it? When will those arrogant louts decide that enough is enough? Has been raving ever since they moved in next door. Imagine them as neighbors.
It's a point of pride, I suppose, having the bigger house in the district.
Pride! I wouldn't count on either of them having much of that in stock. Something we can help you with, sir?
Have you been walking through Queensberth with your eyes closed? Or have you simply failed to notice the trouble between the Bardato and Valera families? Let us bring you up to speed, yes? Two families, Bardato and Valera, have been feuding for months. The Bardatos are older, wealthier, and better established, both here and back in the republics.
The Valeras are newer to Deadfire, but success at pirate hunting earned them prompt status. They purchased an estate next door to the Bardato house, and a whole nest of conflict and disagreement arose from there.
One side has the money, while the other is a rising star. And we are apprentice clerks to Luca and Governor Alvari. They don't let us access serious documentation, except under the strictest supervision, of course. Someday, though.
It is a joy and a pleasure to serve the trading company in any capacity. Once you see how irregular everything is in Neketaka, it seems obvious that the Huana are clueless and the Republics are so decidedly in the right.
My fingers be fat and furry, but they're ever so nimble. Captain, a light's foot and an heavy bullet, I cap. I don't be supposing we could blow it up, Captain.
Merla, if you are not on the schedule, you are here to waste my time. The servers at the tavern are clumsy. Most clumsy indeed. Stumbling from the street, I see. This is the heart of the Valiant Trading Company. You would know that if you had a reason to be here. From her office, Governor Alvari carries out the will of the Songretta Mea Compressa. We clerks are the fingers of their long reach. Ac, a lawful claim, I might add, no matter what the native says to the contrary. He showed up with a forged contract, as if I wouldn't know the difference between our paperwork and theirs. Tawenu is lucky I only seized the forgery. The Gallet is too good for his kind. Your villager friend would do well not to stand between the company and our prize. The company is allowed to solve problems as we see fit. And right now, Tawenu is a problem. Besides, lying is second nature to the Ranga heir and his ignorant cliente. Simple enough. We take on the burden of caring for the tribe in exchange for luminous Adra rights. Tawenu is myopic if he thinks his tribe can thrive under a Ranga in this climate. The Crown has been known to grimace at our client tribe privileges. We do not allow local trouble to stymie us so that Rawatai can steal an advantage. Postenago, the company has every reason to congratulate itself. Now move along. I have larger matters to resolve than the fate of one insignificant island. This room stifles already. Must you crowd it further? This again? Precomplan, can it? This is the homeland they signed away for money, Ak. I can almost guarantee the company will put it to more dignified use. This is... Ak, true enough. But breaking a contract for diplomacy's sake is simply not done. I would be remiss to uphold one contract to the detriment of our operation. Go on, then. Some of us have more important duties. I'll be lucky if Governor Alvari lets me manage the kitchen. Much less another contract of value.
Indeed.
Done and done.
Good day to you.
Of course.
What for, Cap? A light's foot and an heavy bullet, aye, Cap? I don't be supposing we could, up. Easy breezy, wet and sleazy.
I? Of course. What can I do?
Just a moment. There we are. So, did Alvari send you? I'm putting together the numbers. You will have to be patient. Well, you're no clerk. Sientere, Watcher. I was preoccupied. Do not take it personally. They put me in this side office for a reason. Oleska Saraso, advisor. Did you get turned around? I have little to do with people, to be honest. Numbers mostly. What can I do for you today, Watcher? I will not lie. Our fortunes dwindle. I must ask the director for some clarity on these figures. I cannot imagine why they are so low. I only handle the numbers, sir. If you are looking for work, you should speak with Governor Alvari. Her office is downstairs, towards the back. Ado, Watcher. Governor Clario had many kind things to say about you. I have you here in the ledger. A net profit. What can I do for you today, Watcher? Put plainly, I am an advisor to the director. I keep the books in order and offer advice on the operations of the fleet. Profits, losses, all here. I have a better head for numbers than for small talk, I'm afraid. It isn't personal. It is nice to be asked, I suppose. I hardly ever get anyone in here unless they need help with their sums. That is true, but hardly anyone says so. I have been lucky to reach this position. I enjoy the work, and it is clear that I am needed. I can spare a few moments. Well, it is funded and so controlled by the Songretta Mea Compresa. I can tell you that much. A council of 11 investors. Dukes, nobles, not all from the Republic's mind, but all very important people. While the Songretta is away, Cantaniro is the company's highest authority on the island, but he mainly concerns himself with diplomatic affairs. For the usual business, you want the director.
Ahoy. Aye, aye. A light's foot and an heavy bullet, I cap. Why my eyes be open?
I'm here.
Ado, Watcher. I'm glad we could put the final stamp on this Pococohara situation. Sadly, it isn't uncommon for teams to simply disappear out there. It was terrible, not knowing what to tell their families. What can I do for you today, Watcher?
What for, Cap? Done and done.
What can I do?
Ado, Watcher. Are you never homesick? I would do anything for a good, home-cooked Valian dinner. What can I do for you today, Watcher? Ado. What can I do for you?
What can I do?
Ado, Watcher. What can I do for you?
Done and done. What for, Cap? Done and done. One of my eyes be open.
I'm here.
This room stifles already. Must you crowd it further?
Akira, you return. What say, friend? Akira, I cannot believe! A light after our long sorrow. My village is modest, but I came prepared. I set aside a few gems for trading. They are yours by right. You are a friend of the Dwape. We do not forget.
Come closer, Watcher. We should speak. And here I thought Tawenu would hold vigil on the company's stoop until the last shard of Audra was dredged up from the ruins of his village. Sometimes it pays to be wrong. Plenty of folk disagreed with you, it seems. I wonder, what makes you so different? The Valian Trading Company is so fixated on incremental profits that by the time they make any real headway, Rawatai will own every island in all but name. And the Hawana are so gullible that their loyalties will be spread across 500,000 contracts, and nothing but black powder will remind them who truly owns Deadfire. Stop by the Royal Deadfire District sometime. Rawatai needs men and women of action to represent our interests. And I can see a promising career for someone like you.
I don't be supposing wicked. You'd be like us not to break the prat down if you keep pushing us, Cap. Easy breezy. Sleazy.